should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
1, 2, 3. Hey, good evening, everyone. It's Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. and you're watching the Maastricht edition on Facebook Live. I'm your co-host, Tracey, and together with Joe, we'll be bringing you our regular segments and the usual fun and games. Next to that, we'll also be joined by the lovely Aaron from Beta Koffie. So stay tuned and get ready to smell the beans.
Oh, very nice. Good evening. Welcome to the Maastricht edition, everybody. How are you all? I hope you are well. And as Tracey said, yes, we're going to be smelling the beans, the coffee beans. Beta Koffie is going to be in the house this evening. They've got something a little bit different going on with them. It's not all just about the coffee, but they're going to be out of luck with me because I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm more of a tea drinker. And I believe, Tracey, you like a bit of both, don't you?
I do. I think they'll probably survive if you're the only one not drinking their coffee. I suspect so. they're quite popular. But yes, I do tend to enjoy a bit of both. So yeah, tea or coffee, it's all good for me.
What is your first drink of the day?
It really depends. Generally, I think it probably is a cup of coffee, but it really does depend. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely tea. Tea all the way.
Yeah, well, you don't drink coffee, so that would be...
Although, to be fair, in the summer, I hardly drink any tea at all. I don't... this idea that apparently having something hot when you're hot is supposed to cool you down because your body sort of does something that makes you cool down. It doesn't work for me. It just makes me hotter.
Okay. Oh, maybe they should study you. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, they do say that if you're supposed to drink hot drinks in hot climes, because it makes the body perspire, thus cooling you off. But yeah, it seems a bit counterintuitive, doesn't it, to reach for a hot mug of something on a hot sunny day? So, but there we go. Yeah, we're creatures of habit, I guess. You kind of crave a cool drink with ice cubes, don't you? So.
Yeah, I do that. Yeah, water, fizzy water for me, definitely. There's something about the fizz that sort of gives me the idea it's a bit more refreshing.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
I think.
I'm not a huge fan of the fizzy water myself, but to each his own. And indeed, it's nice, I guess, in the summer with a shot of lemon or something nice and refreshing.
Summer.
Yeah.
Summer.
Well, yes. Still have to get through winter and spring, dear. So don't get too excited.
Well, do you know what? Actually, I did get a little bit excited today when I went to feed the goats just before the sun went down, and I noticed, it was gone 5 o'clock, and it was still very bright outside. So I did get very excited about that. Now that's only, of course, because today we had such a lovely day. There was lots of sunshine around, but it's I believe by the time we get to the end of January, we really see a difference, and that can be quite uplifting, the fact that there's a bit more light. But we've also seen in previous years, of course, February and March can be a bit of a washout, and sometimes even snow.
That is very true. I remember, many years ago, snow in February, snow in March, snow in April. So you never know. Maybe just wait and see.
Yes, we shall see for sure. Mickey's in the house. Good evening. Lovely to have you with us. Hello. And hello to everybody else out there. We've got lots of things that are going to be happening, maybe or maybe not from tomorrow, of course. We're waiting for this big news conference to find out whether we can actually start going back to shops. But I believe you're going to be talking a little bit in the news about some shops and restaurants and bars out there that have decided that they're going to open up this weekend, whatever the Prime Minister has to say.
It does seem to be the case, yes. There's a few parts of Maastricht that are going to go rogue almost. But who knows? I guess it depends what's announced in the conference tomorrow. So I guess everybody's waiting for that, first of all. But yeah, it does seem that some places, specifically in Wiek, I also think in Valkenburg, maybe, a few other places in the centre that have formed a sort of solidarity stand, and they're going to open their premises from 12 till 5. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what kind of response they get from the general public, because I think, well, you know this better than anybody. Walking through Maastricht, it's lifeless. It's just such a shame with everything closed. It just makes the city feel so different.
Yeah, of course it does. That's only normal, I guess. Even though some places are still open, the essential shops, supermarkets, and so on. The main hub, I suppose, the main shopping street, the high street, whatever you want to call it, is closed. Yeah.
Oh well, we shall see.
Yes.
In the meantime, I came across a very bizarre website that I thought I would share with you. It's called the Top Tens, and these are all top tens, or a lot of them are all top tens of things that people get wrong. For example, geography mistakes that people get wrong. You're quite good on geography, aren't you, Tracey? You're quite well travelled, and I don't know if you're one of these people that can name capital cities for various countries. I'm always terrible at that, to be honest with you, because, of course, as we know, I have a memory like a colander. So no surprise there. But some of these have made me wonder. So I'm just going to run through some of these top tens that we have here. And I say top 10, sometimes they're top 20s, but I'll just give you some example of some geography mistakes that many people make. Thinking that Japan is the capital of China.
Oh gosh, that's horrid. Horrid.
Now, this one I can understand. Sydney is the capital of Australia. I know that is quite a common one that people get wrong. So I can make allowances for people there, that's for sure. We've got Shanghai is the capital of China as well.
Okay, that's also wrong, people.
Europe is a country.
Oh, God.
What else have we got here? Colorado is a perfect square. Now, I don't even know how this would actually come up in conversation in the first place. But Colorado, the state in the US, they're discussing the size of it, and people think, oh yeah, it's a perfect square. To be honest with you, I don't even know what shape it is. Do you know what shape it is, Trace?
I haven't been to Colorado, so I don't know much about the place, I'm afraid.
Deserts always have high temperatures, which I know is not true, because sometimes they can get extremely cold.
That's true.
Here's number 6, and this is going to resonate with a lot of people here. Holland is a country. Exactly. There's an awful lot of Dutch people out there who are going to be bristling at the moment, of course.
It annoys me as well, as someone who's been here for quite some years. The country is the Netherlands, people, the Netherlands. And within the Netherlands, there are provinces which are called Holland, South Holland, North Holland. The country is the Netherlands. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, I think that the problem is, of course, in other countries, a lot of people just refer to it as Holland. And even I've noticed, if you, not that I watch much sport, to be honest with you, but quite often people who are representing their country, it will say Holland. It won't actually say the Netherlands. So even in media throughout the world, people refer to it as Holland rather than the Netherlands. And I think that's going to take a long time to go. So America is a country. Now, of course, this can be very confusing, of course, because we often refer to the USA as America, but of course that's not the case at all. But that's, a common mistake, apparently. England and the UK are the same thing.
Ooh, that's opening a can of worms, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, dearie me. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some history there. And if there's anybody Scottish out there that's listening, they're probably going to be bristling as well. That goes back a long way.
That does.
And finally, Africa is a country.
Okay.
So these apparently are very, very common mistakes in geography. I don't know what to say to that. And the problem is, if you hear somebody say that, would you correct them?
Well, I think it probably would depend on how silly the remark was, maybe. I'm not sure. It would depend.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
No, because some people could get offended, can't they? That's the trouble. Especially if you're talking about maybe, if it's your own country, you probably would correct them. I don't know about somebody else's country. But people out there, our viewers this evening, our listeners, tell us, would you correct somebody if they said that they thought Japan was the capital of China? We would like to know. But I'll tell you something else we'd like to know at the moment. I think it's probably time we had a look at the book of the week. What do you think, Tracey?
Oh, yes, I almost forgot about the book of the week. Take it away, Joe. What do you have for us this week?
Well, book of the week this week from the English bookstore in Maastricht. The recommendation is The Glowing Earth by Nag Wismar. Is this familiar to you, Trace?
I'm afraid, writer nor book. I had never heard of it.
Okay, well, The Glowing Earth is a suspenseful story about saving the world in a race against and through time, apparently. So it's a little bit on the sci-fi side. I'm not. I watch sci-fi films, but I don't read sci-fi books, if I'm honest. So in this page-turning science fiction novel about time travel, the present day becomes the past as one future family travels to recover rare minerals meant to save humanity. When the conquest of the Earth forces scientists to align with the richest man in the world to make a temporary settlement in space, a new planet and a new population emerge along with advanced capabilities with no violence.
Wow.
But just when safety and salvation are assured, an unexpected enemy threatens all of humanity. Dun, dun, dun.
There you go. That's
There
a
you go.
cliffhanger. Right.
Yeah, so it says showcasing future space travel and space settlement technology, author Nad Wismar presents a dire warning about the potential consequences of seeking life in the stars, along with hope for a better tomorrow. This is the first book of a science fiction trilogy, and that's The Glowing Earth by Nad Wismar. So there you go.
All right.
If I'm honest, as I said, I don't really read science fiction, but I love the science fiction movies. I can get quite into those. But if you fancy it, pop down to the English bookstore in Maastricht. Not only science fiction, of course, they've got a whole raft of different books down there.
Lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. And if you don't want to actually pop into the shop, then you can order online from them as well. So that is the recommendation this week from the English bookstore in Maastricht, The Glowing Earth by Nat Wismar. So there you go.
Very nice too.
So now I seem to remember last week I mentioned that I was reading about the Greeks. I'm still reading about the Greeks.
Oh gosh, well, there's a lot of them to get through, isn't there? So it was your horrible histories book, no?
Yes, I'm still on the horrible histories book, and then we've got all these other ones to go through as well, which I'm very keen to do. But yeah, I've this week has been kind of busy, and I do find it difficult to find that little nugget of time to sit down and get my nose in without falling asleep, of course.
Yeah, that is a danger, a hazard of reading sometimes.
But what's been happening with you the past week, Tracy? Anything exciting?
Let me think. I don't really recall anything mind-blowing to share. I think that would be very interesting anyway. So it's been a pretty standard week, I must say. So the usual.
Okay.
You know,
well,
yeah.
If we want to know what we could be doing over the coming week, then maybe we could have a look at what Christina from Maastricht has got to tell us.
Now that's a good idea. I'm sure there's something very exciting in that mix.
We may get inspired. Here's Christina from Maastricht.com.
Cool.
Hello, it's Christina from the Maastrichter. Now, there is not much on at the moment, as I'm sure you all know. I think everyone is waiting for the announcement on Friday to see if hopefully some things can start opening at the weekend. Fingers crossed for that. But I've found a few things to keep you going in the meanwhile. The jazz department in the Conservatorium Maastricht are giving online performances every week. So the next one is Monday the 17th at 7 o'clock and it's guitar. It's kind of an open night performed by students and professors, and they'll give you a bit of background information, so a bit of a lecture as well. Really good for anybody who's considering applying for a position and studying there, or if you're just interested in jazz and you want to learn some more. They're YouTube live concerts, so the details of that, they have a Facebook page, but the details of that will be on the Maastrichter to make it easier to find, and you can enjoy some lovely jazz. I'm sure that everybody who's been living in Maastricht for any amount of time has done this already, but just in case you haven't, it's really nice to take a walk up to the NC. You walk to the St. Petersburg, up the hill, and you can walk around the NC. It used to be a limestone mining area, and it's just really cool. It looks like you're in another planet even, definitely not in Maastricht. And you can have a really nice walk for kind of 1-2 hours. You can extend it as much as you like. You end up towards the border of Belgium, and there's some really beautiful views over the city and over the river. It's a really nice thing to do if it's a nice wintry crisp day. And there's a restaurant called Montanova. They've got a very cute setup at the moment outside, and they're offering snacks, and actually quite substantial snacks. All the Dutch classics. You've got frietjes, you've got poffertjes, you've got currywurst, even waffles. So you can get your snacks before or after your walk as your treat, or your fuel as you wish. Cold and hot drinks. So you can combine the two, and it's nice to have a change of scenery at the moment if you're stuck in your house all the time. Just to remind you that the market on the Markt Square every Friday is currently open 9 till 5. They have lovely food stands, butchers, fishmongers, nut stands, vegetables, and also they have things like haberdashery, fabric, clothes. It's a nice experience, nice thing to check out, especially if you're missing some shopping action at the moment. And I just wanted to mention an app for you. It's an international app, but available in Maastricht. It's called Too Good To Go. You sign up and you can check out lists of things. When restaurants or shops, if they have stuff that they're just going to throw away at the end of the day, they post it on the app and you can go and collect it between a certain time. It keeps updating all through the day, so it's really worth checking out because you can get some very good deals. Often they'll just say something like magic box. And it's just produce from the shop or the restaurant that's probably about to go out of date. Often they have bread boxes, and you can get some really good deals. That is all I have this week, I'm afraid. I hope for Friday that we'll have some good news and things will start opening. I think that's what all of the companies are waiting for. Everything's on hold, but yeah. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy this time. It can be nice as well. Okay, bye.
Oh, thank you, Christina. It's amazing. She's managed to find some things for us to do.
It is a challenge these days, isn't it? But like we said at the top of the hour, maybe as of tomorrow there will be more things to do as of next week or so.
Yeah,
so
we hope so. We hope so. So yeah, but you'll be bringing up that's up in the news, of course. But I think most people already know there's going to be a press conference tomorrow, and hopefully they'll have some good news for us. That would be great. Although we're still able to travel over to Germany, aren't we? So the borders haven't been closed. So I don't know what's been happening. I mean, if there's been loads of Dutch people that have been travelling over to Germany or Belgium, of course, but I know they insist in Germany to have what's it called, the N95 or something mask. It's the really super
it's quite a heavy duty mask indeed. Yes. I know, I thought it was FF25, but who knows? There's so many.
I know there's so many.
Yes.
And they're not very comfortable to wear.
Well, they're not comfy, but the ones we've got, because we travel into Germany quite a bit, they definitely give the feeling that they're filtering. So you can certainly notice that you feel that it's doing more than just your regular, paper one, the blue ones that people tend to wear a lot. So yeah, but indeed, it's there are different rules still in different countries, and if you're living, I guess, like we are, very close to various borders, it can be a headache to keep up with what's in style on one side and what's in style.
I know, I can't keep up with it. I mean, it's an absolute joy to be so close to all these different countries, but when it comes to keeping an eye on all these new rules and regulations that seem to change on a weekly basis, then no, I can't keep up with it at all. And have you noticed at the beginning of all this, we were all wearing sort of brightly coloured masks with all sort of patterns and stuff on it. And I don't think people are bothering so much with that now. I think it's
oh gosh, no, I only ever wore black masks all the way through. So I tend to wear a lot of black, so it just went better with the outfits. But there was a trend at one time where women were matching their mask to their scarf or gloves or whatever. And anyway, so I think in the end, the mask is there more for a kind of practical purpose more than a fashion statement, I guess. Yeah. But in any case, I fear masks, coloured or otherwise, will be with us for quite some time.
Absolutely, yeah. And if I find out, I put on a pair of jeans and I'm like, oh yeah, I've already got 2 masks in there, and then I've got some in a bag and there's some in the car, and
they just kind of appear out of everywhere. So yes. Indeed.
It's the way it is. Renee's in the house. Good evening, Renee. Lovely to have you with us. And you're just in time. If you want to kick back and relax for a little bit, put your feet up, have a glass of wine maybe, because it is time for This Day in History. Well, today it is Thursday, the 13th of January. Already.
2 weeks in.
2 weeks, yeah. I think because Christmas was a bit of a non-event, it does feel like it was ages ago, actually. I don't feel like it was very recent.
Yeah, it does seem longer ago, indeed. It's funny once you get back into the routine of things, work or whatever, just, things just move on and, distant memories.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I think because we didn't have those big celebrations and things to remember, I suppose, because normally the week or two after we just sort of like, oh, it was nice to see such and such a person, or didn't we have a lovely time, and all this kind of thing. But no, there's been, but we won't dwell on that. So, 13th of January in 1794, on this very day, Congress in the US changes the US flag to 15 stars and 15 stripes. They added more later, of course. And in 1928, on this very day, RCA and GE installed 3 test television sets in homes in New York, allowing American inventor E.F.W. Alexanderson to demonstrate the first home television receiver, which delivered a poor and unsteady 5 centimetre square picture.
God, that's going to be a pain if you're watching Netflix on a 5 centimetre square. Good Lord.
Can you imagine?
Wow.
I can understand why maybe a lot of people at that time went, oh, this will never catch on.
Could be. Although nowadays everything is going smaller and smaller, so who knows? Maybe this will be the future TVs for us, little handheld,
maybe
tiny things.
There seems to have been a trend with a lot of technology over the years. It started off big and then it went small and then it's gone big again because you're adding more kind of stuff and whatnot. And it's like, I really like the look of these new phones that they have now that actually fold out into a tablet. Yeah. I mean, they're very expensive. God knows when we'll ever be able to afford one. But I like the idea of that, actually, that you've got ones that fold out. But I certainly don't want to be carrying a brick around with me everywhere I go. Because I remember at one stage, phones got really, really small, didn't they?
Well, they did. Well, they started off being these bricks,
like a house brick,
with a giant antenna that were super expensive. And then they became teeny tiny things that would fit in the palm of your hand. And now the smartphones are thin, but they're also starting to get larger. It's tough to keep up.
Yeah, I can't for sure. On this day, 1930, Mickey Mouse comic strip starts for the first time. And in 1962, on this very day, Chubby Checker's song The Twist, credited with starting the twist dance craze, goes to #1 in the charts 2 years after first reaching the #1 spot. Are you a twister, Tracey?
Well, I know the twist song. I don't know if that makes me a twister, to be honest. I think I have done a Chubby Checker twist at a wedding in the past, perhaps. Yeah.
Before smartphones.
Before the smartphone. Yeah, indeed. Gosh, back in the day when people didn't spend their lives with their little smartphone neck recording everything. So, yeah.
I'm very pleased that people weren't recording me in my twisting days, actually.
Oh.
When my bum starts wobbling, even when I've stopped, it still continues to wobble. It's not good. On this day in 1976, Sarah Caldwell is the first woman to conduct an NYC Metropolitan conduct at the NYC Metropolitan Opera House, as she orchestrated a performance of La Traviata. In 1978, NASA selects the first of its American women astronauts, and a year later, in 1979, the YMCA files a libel suit against Village People for their YMCA song.
Oh, okay.
Controversial. In 1981, Barbara Sontag crochets a record 147 stitches a minute for half an hour. It was a slow news day, Tracey.
Wow, but that's quite impressive crocheting, though, if you've ever tried it.
I have tried crocheting. It's not my favourite. I prefer to knit.
Yes, I also like knitting, actually. So it's a lot, apparently, knitting and crochet is back in vogue again.
I think crafting generally, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody's having a go at some form of crafting these days. But I think once you've got the hang of crocheting, you can do it very, very quickly. Probably the same with knitting, I suppose. But I've never been a fast knitter, and my knitting is quite basic. But anyway, well done, Barbara. 147 stitches a minute. Oh, the excitement of it all. In 1989, computers across Britain are hit by the Friday the 13th Jerusalem virus.
Gosh. Dramatic.
It is. 10 years later, in 1999, the basketball superstar Michael Jordan announces his second retirement.
Okay, right. Who knows?
It's like these rock stars that say, I'm going to do a farewell tour. And then 10 years later, they do another farewell tour. And then they keep touring, and eventually, yeah. In the year 2000, on the 13th of January, Microsoft chairman Bill Gates steps aside as chief executive and promotes company president Steve Ballmer to the position. On this day in 2016, record Powerball lottery held in America had 3 winning tickets, and they split between them $1.6 billion.
Wow, that's a fair chunk of change.
Isn't it? On 2018, on this very day, actor Mark Wahlberg donates his $1.5 million reshoot fee for the film All the Money in the World to Time's Up, the movement after the revelation. Get me teeth in. That co-star Michelle Williams was only paid $1,000.
Gosh, yeah. I don't know this story, so yeah.
$1,000. Well, this is the thing, is it? It's been going on for a few years now about the difference in salaries between men and women in particular industries, and the acting industry, for sure, has been struggling with this. So yeah, he donates his money to the Time's Up movement because of it. So that's ridiculous, because the difference between 1.5 million and 1,000. I mean, that's crazy.
Quite a difference.
On this day in 2020, the oldest material existing on Earth, at 7.5 billion years old, is revealed by scientists after studying a meteorite that fell to Earth in Australia in the 1960s. Now, I can't get my head around the 7.5 billion years old. I struggle when somebody tells me how old I am, because I can't remember most of the time. But 7.5 billion years old, no, that's just too big a number. I can't work that one out. Also in 2020, on this very day, Queen Elizabeth II issues a statement saying she reluctantly supports Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wish to live a more independent life. And finally, on this day in 2021, the world's oldest known cave painting of an animal, a pig, is 45,000 years old. It's discovered in Liang Tedongna Cave in Indonesia.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So 45,000 years ago, they were drawing pigs. There you have it.
Pigs are around a long time, so there we are.
Birthdays. On this day, 1961, Julia Louise-Dreyfus, the American comedian and actress, was born. 1961, Suggs, the lead singer of Madness, was born in Hastings in England. In 1966, Patrick Dempsey, the American actor of Grey's Anatomy, was born in Lewiston, Maine. 1977, Orlando Bloom, the English actor famous for Pirates of the Caribbean, was born in Canterbury, England. And finally, another actor, Liam Hemsworth, was born in 1990 in Australia, famous for the Hunger Games. Happy birthday to them, and happy birthday to anybody else who's celebrating a birthday today. Hope you're having a lovely day, and that was This Day in History. Hey, thank you.
Very nice, very nice.
So, coming up very shortly, we're going to have Aaron from Beta Koffie. He's going to be joining us and telling us all about his beans. And what he does with his beans.
And other things. Wonder if he has magic beans. I suppose we can ask him.
That sounds a bit saucy.
Does it? Oh, okay. Well, let's do the news then. That's less saucy.
Aaron and his magic beans. Ooh. Are you ready for the news, Tracey?
I am. Let's get on with it. It's already 8:32. We're running late, aren't we?
Already?
Yes.
Tracey Taylor with the news.
Thank you, Joe, and good evening, everyone. It's January 13th, and you're watching the Maastricht edition on Facebook Live. First, a look at your weekend weather, and Friday and Saturday look set to stay dry and bright with highs of 5 during the day. Some rain and strong winds are expected as we move into Sunday, however. Moving to your news bulletin for tonight, and Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte and new Health Minister Ernst Kuipers will hold a press conference at 7 p.m. tomorrow, January 14th. It is speculated that they will announce an easing to current COVID-19 measures in the Netherlands, including a return to shopping upon appointment for non-essential stores and the reopening of sports halls and hairdressers. The exact plan will be shared tomorrow. Staying with this topic, and it seems that Week in Maastricht is set to join several other areas around the country by opening their retail and hospitality businesses this Saturday. Foreign residents in the Netherlands will be able to vote in the elections, which will take place on March 16th. Voting is open to all EU nationals and anyone who has lived in the country for more than 5 years, as long as they are officially registered with their local authority. Potential voters will be sent a ballot paper automatically. By this summer, it seems you will no longer need to use your OV chip cards to travel on Dutch public transport. You can instead check in using a contactless credit or debit card or your smartphone. Over the coming years, the OV chip card will be replaced by a new system called OV Pay, which could already be introduced as early as October 2022. Fan Jing, the panda cub born at the Auerhans Zoo in 2020, will be moving to China in autumn. The young animal could have stayed in the Netherlands for another 2 years, but in the wild, giant pandas leave their mothers in the second year of life, and the Auerhans Zoo wants Fan Jing to lead as natural a life as possible. Giant pandas are only found in the wild in China. The breeding program in the Netherlands is proving successful because the giant panda is no longer considered endangered. According to JDEC, the jet airliner crash data evaluation center, Dutch airline KLM is the safest airline in Europe and the second safest in the world. The ranking is based on each airline's accident history and evaluates the country-specific environment in which the airline operates. Emirates is considered the safest airline in the world. And it seems Amsterdam is the third most expensive city in Europe to rent an apartment. The average Amsterdam apartment costs €1,600 a month. Only London and Paris are more expensive. Moving to international news, and Boris Johnson's future is hanging in the balance. Cabinet ministers have pleaded with Tory MPs to wait for the findings of an official investigation into the Downing Street parties before calling for him to quit. The UK Prime Minister has apologised for attending a Bring Your Own Booze party in the Downing Street garden in May 2020, but insists he believed it was a work event and could technically have been within the rules. France will relax its restrictions for those travelling from the United Kingdom as of tomorrow. Vaccinated travellers will no longer need a compelling reason to enter France and will not have to self-isolate once they arrive. A negative COVID test taken 24 hours before leaving the UK will still be required, however. Staying with France, and a new law that bans plastic packaging on fruit and vegetables came into effect on January 1st. An estimated 37% of fruit and veg in France were sold in plastic wrapping before the ban, and the change could prevent 1 billion items of single-use plastic being used every year. Spain will also introduce a ban on plastic packaging on fruit and vegetables as of 2023. Environmental groups have urged other countries to follow suit. And finally tonight, Leiden in South Holland has been named European City of Science for 2022. Leiden will mark this prestigious honour through a large science conference and a special public programme that will have the motto, "A little wiser every day." And that's it for tonight. For more local news, you can follow RTV News in English on Facebook and Instagram. If you are a local business, be sure to check out the Support Your Local Business South Limburg Facebook page, a joint initiative between #Maastricht and the Maastricht Edition. And if you want to discover events, concerts and cultural activities going on in Maastricht and the surrounding area, head on over to the website of our partner, maastrichter.com. If a historical walking tour is more your thing, check out Meet Maastricht, the key to your city. And finally, don't forget that you can always find us on the Maastricht Edition Facebook page, on YouTube, on Redbubble, and on Instagram. For all the details, check out the maastrichtedition.nl.
Nicely done out, Tracey. There was actually some nuggets of good news in there, I thought.
Well, yes, I did try a little bit this week to pick out something a little bit more upbeat. It's been a bit slim pickings of late, but yes, some positive things. I mean, congrats to Leiden. Good job there on the City of Science. That's quite cool. And indeed, good job, France, for banning the plastic now.
That's really good news.
Really nice, and great that they're taking the lead on that one as well. Also, indeed, if you're coming from the UK and you want to visit Paris or Euro Disney or something, it looks like that's on the cards again. And
giant pandas are no longer endangered.
Giant pandas are doing better, and KLM is the safest in Europe. So I mean, there you go. It's
well done, Tracey.
It's pretty good news. So that's quite nice. Not so good news for poor Boris, and in fact, in the UK, poor Andrew's having a bit of a tough time as well now. So it's all a bit. It's not good news on the UK front, is it?
Yes. You reap what you sow. I'm not going to say any more than that.
Let's leave it there.
Yes, let's. But I tell you who we should get on now. It's going to be really good news for us, I think, is we're going to get Aaron from Beta Koffie. He's going to come and join us and talk about his magic beans.
Okay. We might have scared him off now.
We might have done. I think he's in the house with us now. By the looks of it, is he there? There he is. Good evening, Aaron.
Hello.
Yes.
Welcome to the Maastricht Edition. It's lovely to have you with us.
Yes.
And where do we find you at the moment? You look like you might be in your cellar.
Yes. That might be.
Oh, I think we can't hear you. No, we can't hear you. Hold
on. I'm getting some really strong lag time here.
Yeah, we have that a lot. There's always a bit of a pause. So
it does happen. Well, I'm in a vacant apartment at the moment, which is why I'm echoing all over the place. So we've just had this apartment built, and we've got all the dead bodies underneath. So
oh God,
it's echoing a bit around here.
I hope you're not.
So are you all set there, Aaron?
I am all set here.
Excellent stuff. Well, as we said, we're going to be talking to you about your magic beans. But before we get on to how magic they really are, let's talk a little bit about you. Who you are, where you're from, what are you doing in Heerlen? Go.
Well, I'm Aaron, and I'm from a city called Tacoma, Washington State in the United States. It's about 40-minute drive south of Seattle. Okay. And I am in Heerlen because I'm starting a company, but that's a much longer story of why I got here. It was actually by accident that I came to live in the Netherlands.
Oh,
okay. A happy
accident,
Yeah, definitely a happy accident. In short, I came over to travel. I was going to start a business back in the US, but I had some time and I wanted to just go explore and just see the world a little bit before I went back and got started. And I actually started out in Munich for Oktoberfest. That's literally where I landed.
Wow,
Excellent.
what an introduction to Europe.
Right? Welcome.
Wow.
Here's
Hurrah.
No wonder you stayed.
yeah, right. And from there, I traveled. I had no plan. Basically, my idea was I'll take a few months, and wherever things take me, I meet people, and they say, "Hey, do you want to come to here?" Yes. Okay, let's do it. And
Wow.
that took me around Germany a little bit, and then to the UK, and to different parts with between England and Scotland. Unfortunately, I did not have the chance yet to go to Ireland, but that is definitely on my list.
Well, I'm sorry. We have to cut this interview immediately. I mean, that's just really just that I'm not impressed. Well, it's worth waiting for, Aaron. So when you get a chance, when travel is a little bit more easy, you should definitely pop it on your list. So yeah.
I hear all the great things about it since I've been here, so my excitement only grows. So now when I go, I'm going to be, I don't know how many more times excited than I would have been the first time. So I think it'll definitely be more worth it.
Now,
I think so.
tell me, Aaron,
Yeah.
sorry, I was going to say, are you going to be a bit of a cliche and go off to Ireland looking for your ancestors?
No, I am very certain I have no ancestors from there.
Well, you can't have everything in life, you
That's
know.
true.
Not all. I'm just, but
I can toast with a beer to the ones who do.
absolutely, which is always welcome. So, but if you do get there, Aaron, be sure to head to Cork. Don't make Dublin your only stop.
No, that would not be my own stop.
Top tip.
Too many beautiful things, and thank you.
So how did we start with coffee then? Did you wake up one morning enjoying a particularly good cup of coffee and go, do you know what, I want to sell this?
No, I grew up with horrible coffee. In the U.S., we had Folgers, and it's a big can, and usually it was in my parents' freezer. And I tried it one time when I was making coffee for them, and it was horrible.
I've already established I am not a coffee drinker, but even that sounds vile to me.
Yeah. But later on, I started learning more. So I worked in beer for a little while in the U.S., and I started learning more about coffee itself, more about, what coffee comes out like if you brew it differently, if you, depending on where you get your beans from, how it's fermented along the way. All these things go into what makes a cup of coffee. And so when I learned that, for example, I don't have to add a ton of milk and sugar for it to actually taste like I can drink this as much as I want to. That's when I started getting really interested in, okay, well, what else can this do?
Very interesting. As a coffee, I do drink coffee, and I'm a purist. Coffee should be black, no milk, no sugar, just as it is. And we discovered that the key for us was the 100% Arabica beans, which is slightly better than the Robusta, which tends to come in a lot of coffees you might buy in the supermarket and so on. But I'm not sure if we're going off on a random tangent there. So
I like tangents. I really do.
Awesome.
So yeah,
you're in the right show.
So with coffee, so Arabica is really well known, and it's also one of the, not all the time, but often it's actually one of the better beans, one of the better types that's grown over a Robusta because of how it uses tree cover, and there's more complex soils, especially when you include other agriculture around it and permaculture and that sort of thing. And but it's a really great bean and produces really good flavors. And so what I started doing was I started using a Chemex coffee maker. So I don't know if either of you are familiar with a Chemex coffee maker.
Well, I think many of our listeners out there would love to know more.
It's this wonderful little invention by a guy named Peter Schlumbaum. And
sorry, can you say that again?
Peter Schlumbaum. I hope I'm saying
name.
that.
What a great name.
And this was in the 1930s originally when he put together the patent for this. And he had fled Germany when things were changing during World War II in the early 1930s, and went to the U.S. And I think he created in his lifetime over 300 patents for things, mostly actually cooling and refrigeration units, not anything involved with coffee.
Okay.
So when the Chemex coffee maker was invented, he was actually using it to fund a patent for newer cooling technology that he created.
Mhm.
And it turned out that people just ended up loving to use this. It's slow brewed, so it takes about 5-6 minutes
Mhm.
for to brew a small batch of coffee, a couple cups. And the flavor you get, especially because you can adjust the water temperature. So I love it because you have full control over every aspect. The grind size, the amount of water you use, the temperature of the water, all playing a part into what makes a coffee taste like coffee, but the natural flavors. So you can get like berry flavors and chocolate flavors and earthy notes and and sometimes citrus, and it's a fun experience.
Do you know that I find this fascinating because this is not about being a barista. This is about being a chemical engineer, and in a world these days where we are wanting things on demand so quickly, you're talking about, no, let's just take some time here, because what's going to come out at the end is actually going to be a really good cup of coffee compared to, for want of a better expression, the shitty stuff you get in so many cafes.
And I mean, for many people, coffee is the first thing that they do in the morning. Well, one of the first things that they do in the morning, and it sets the tone. I mean, I think if you're waking up and you taste something that's bitter and it's not really enjoyable, to a degree, it affects the rest of your day and how you're going to feel about things. But if you sit down in front of a nice breakfast or smell something nice that you enjoy, always your day is, I think, a little bit better.
Absolutely.
So beyond that, coffee is also, I like to use it as an experience. So I do not have magic beans. I do have to say this right away. I don't want to save this to the end, and have
Such disappointment, Tracey.
Oh dear.
But what I found that I can do with it is, because it's slow brew, so coffee is sitting there in the filter, dripping along for about 5-6 minutes, and I thought, and okay, so this is going to be interesting for both of you. Just a small tangent here, because Joe, on one hand, you don't like coffee, and is that because of the bitter? It's too bitter. Is that it? Like, you like the smell, but not the bitterness that you've always found?
Yeah, it probably is that it's really just too harsh for me, and I'll eat coffee cake or coffee biscuits.
Okay.
But even then, after a while, I'm like, no, it's not doing anything for me. But I think it's more the strength than anything. It's like, whoa, in your face.
Okay, and then for you, Tracey, you're a purist, so you like it black, nothing in it.
Yes, indeed. But it's quite funny because years ago I used to drink coffee with milk and about 4 teaspoons of sugar.
Really?
And I had one holiday in Sweden where they make pretty decent coffee actually there. And I decided now is the moment I'm going to switch. And I just started drinking black coffee. And the first few days I thought I really wouldn't make it. And now I can't go back. It's just just has to be plain black coffee, but a decent cup and of good quality stuff. And we use a mocha master machine here at home, which is really handy. And if we've traveled around, especially in Italy, for example, there you can get a mighty good cup of coffee as well. So yeah. But now Heerlen, we can go to Heerlen, Joe, and I can have a good cup of coffee.
I can watch you have a good cup of coffee,
and you can enjoy the aroma.
Although I've got a sneaky suspicion Aaron's going to try and convert me here.
No. I'm not going to try and convert you. I just want to invite you to something different and let you convert yourself.
Oh, the last time a man said that to me, it all got very messy, but I may take you up on the offer.
Messy can be fun.
But tell me, you've got to this stage where you're actually making all this fantastic coffee, but there's more to it than this, isn't there? Because reading on your Facebook page, you're talking about getting involved culturally with musicians and artists. to do with the coffee. Where is the connection? How is this getting connected?
The coffee is the connection.
Okay.
So it goes back to that enjoying a nice cup. And even with the lousy cups where everybody throws in milk and sugar, it's still a point where people come together and they do it together. They all don't enjoy it as much, but there's conversations, there's ideas being shared, life stories, etc. And so it's the same with art and music. Having a nice cup, having just something, a nice environment that's unique and different than what they're used to having. It creates a conversation point, and people can go from there. So that's the simplest form of it. One example for now during this recent period of lockdown, one example of collaboration I'm using coffee with is with a local business. This is in Heerlen at Café Bluff. And I've been going as a customer for about half a year and fell in love with the place. It's the friendliest local neighborhood metal bar in the world. And I just really enjoyed being there. Everybody feels like a family and it's super comfortable. And the owner is really friendly, and it's just a great place to be. After a while, I realized I had never seen him make coffee for anyone. I had never really seen many people order coffee or anything like that. And so I kind of talked to him about it one day, and it's not really his focus. So he has stuff to make coffee. It's just not his main focus. And so when we switched hours to the new in November, he changed his hours from evening from 4 till close until I think it was 4 until 8, something like that. And so we started talking. I said, hey, since you're going to be open earlier in the day, do you want to try an experiment? And he kind of was like, yeah, let's see what we can do. And so I gave him more information, and he was up for it. And so one day I brought my Chemex coffee maker and my water cooker and my beans and my magical extra ingredients, and started making coffee for his customers. And that's how it started.
Fantastic. This sounds to me it's more of an experience. This is about actually taking time out. So I'm not just going for a coffee. No, I'm gonna share. I'm gonna have some time out. I'm gonna enjoy not just the coffee, but the people around me, the experience around me.
Yeah. And what if you had a project that you wanted to do, and you're just hanging out having coffee, and you're coming to see me because you're a recent convert to coffee? Congratulations. And we're just hanging out, and you're telling me about this project idea, and somebody else walks in, and I say, hey, let me introduce you to Tracey. And because previously we've been talking about, black coffee and so on and so forth, and you both have different lifestyles, and hey, you should meet each other and talk about this subject. And you two go along and create something magical and wonderful for the world. It's about creating that opportunity and experience for people to share and grow.
It's wonderful. It just comes back to the fact that in basic things like food and drink bring people together and encourage open dialogue and communication and connections. And goodness knows, after the last couple of years, it can be that these types of interactions are even more required than ever before, perhaps. You almost forget how to interact with physical people anymore because everything is so online.
Yeah,
so these are wonderful things. And a funny stat for you, apparently after Finland, the Dutch are the biggest coffee drinkers in all of Europe. So really? you're really in the right spot for this enterprise, which is equally exciting. Any plans to bring your beans to Maastricht at all?
Well, as far as the beans go, I might actually end up using ones from Maastricht in Maastricht.
Oh!
So, I can't really say much because talks are very early, but I am looking to work with a local farm and find some unique collaborations there where I will be creating some lines of juices and unique coffee syrups as well. And then doing fun events around Maastricht along with Heerlen.
That would
Fantastic.
be awesome.
So going forward then, the plan is to expand in the area, but are we thinking big here? I mean, where can this go? Is this about promoting a concept, do you think?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. It's a concept of collaboration, and coffee is one of the easiest things to get started with. And yeah, so right now it's mostly the focus is in Heerlen. There are some talks about expanding a little bit into Maastricht. Right now, because we have no idea what things are going to look like when. So me and another local entrepreneur are currently putting together a small project that we want to launch for the community. So it's going to be a unique collaborative web shop aspect. But it's not just a web shop. It's something that promotes, again, collaboration, discussion, and we're going to try to put that together for the city of Heerlen and the local surrounding Limburg, and see what we can do with there to support everybody we can who's going through this, and yeah, see what we can do.
Fantastic. So if people want to get involved, if they want to get in contact, what's the best way to get hold of you?
Right now, Facebook is the best way. Instagram is also good. I'm more on Facebook, but yeah, those are the best ways to just kind of follow along and see how things grow and see what's going on.
Excellent stuff. Well, we shall put all of your contact details on our socials after the show. Petra's in the house. She's on board with it all. She reckons that's exactly what coffee is for sitting around chatting, sharing, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, but we know Petra, and we know she's got a very nice coffee machine, so she's definitely on board with this for sure. But we'll encourage people to come and see you. Sorry?
This Saturday, actually. Come out Saturday from 12 to 8. I'll be open with Café Bluff, and it should be a really cozy, wonderful time.
Fantastic. Well, it's been lovely to have you on board. Please keep in contact with us. We'd love to know when things do start expanding and this turns into a global empire, because, of course, we need everybody to know that we were there at the very beginning. That you need to remember who your friends are. Just thought I'd put that in there. But all the best to you, Aaron. It sounds wonderful. It really does. I mean, especially in the times that we've been going through for the last couple of years. This is exactly what we need. Whether it's coffee or beer, we need to be hanging out together. We need to be sharing, swapping ideas around, and being with people. So, yeah, we're with you on this one for sure. So thank you very much for joining us, Aaron. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Thanks ever so much. Take care now. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I got a warm, fuzzy feeling then.
Well, I had the Smiths in my head the entire time.
What's in your head?
The Smiths.
Oh, the Smiths? Did you?
And why, Joe?
Oh, God, you got me on the spot now.
This charming.
Oh, really?
Oh, they're very charming. If you weren't a coffee drinker before it, I'm sure you all are now. So
yes,
really cool. Wonderful to see some new enterprises and ideas coming up. And like I said, I mean, in the Netherlands, it's really a good spot to kind of plant a flag here in terms of coffee stuff and coffee options. And nice. Well, you know me, I don't tend to leave the walls of Maastricht very often. That's why I was very naughtily asking if he was coming to Maastricht. But Heerlen isn't that far away, so you never know.
Well, do you know what? I think, look, I'm not the coffee drinker here, but I think, for you, this could actually be something really nice that you're going to be going there specifically to have this amazing cup of coffee. I think you need to try it out.
Go to Heerlen, you mean? Oh my goodness! I mean, I never leave this. I can see. I'll have a think about it. My heart is in Maastricht. It's kind of, it's all here.
Well, maybe we can persuade Petra to go with you. Actually.
There you go. Yeah, Petra likes a cup of coffee.
She does like a cup of coffee.
Yes, she does.
And I know somebody else who likes a cup of coffee, actually, and that's Lucy from Meet Maastricht. So I think we better head on over to her and see what she has to say for us this week.
Let's do it.
Hello, here for another 5 minutes or so. installment of meeting Maastricht digitally. I am providing these little snippets of information in hopes you will take advantage of whatever time in these dark and dreary months it is not raining, which is really most of the time, to go outside and explore. And what I would like to tell you about today is a place, this is me, I'm sorry, is a place you can not explore right now because you need a guide for that. And the guides are not providing tours at the minute. We are awaiting new guidelines from the government on the COVID response. As soon as you can, find them. Maastricht Underground or Stichting Maastricht Vestingstad, and they will take you underground. This is what I would like to talk about today, Maastricht Underground. And one specific part of that, we call it, not quite correctly, kasematten in Dutch, casemates in English. The locals, especially the older generation, will speak of the gutch. What is it? When you think of a city's fortifications, what you imagine is a city wall, of course, and turrets and gates and moats and stuff like that. But what you should also take into consideration when thinking of a city's fortification is everything outside those walls. You know these old prints of city plans that look like they're porcupines almost, or but then in a more mathematically drawn fashion. So a city, an inhabited place, surrounded by circle upon circle of constructions intended to deter attackers and be able to get a good shot at them and preventing them from capturing the city in any way. You'll find remnants of that, of Maastricht's fortifications, walls in the city park, and more of these more modern fortifications further out in the Hoge Front. What I would like to talk about today, very briefly, is the extremely extensive, intricate network underground. Whereas we just have bits and pieces here and there above ground, the network underground is intact to a large extent, which means you could walk underground from the northern edge of the city center on the Maas River all the way around to the southernmost point of the city, touching on the Maas River. It's about a 3-hour at least trek, and of course that that gets very dark and damp and uncomfortable, I suppose. But you know, just imagine the poor soldiers who had to spend lots of time there keeping guard, and worse, lots of time there fighting off the attackers. Because as much as a siege would take place above ground, it would be just as violent and bloody underground. Because the defenders would have their system in place. They would man it to the uttermost reaches to listen for any sound of the enemy approaching underground, because they would be tunneling towards the city's defenses as well. And then from both sides, they would put explosive materials in specifically designed cavities underground and blow them up. So lots of people were, you know, ripped to pieces by these gunpowder explosions underground. War has never been pretty. what else could I tell you about this very briefly? Yes, the more recent uses this system was put to, slightly ironically, they were conceived and built as machines of war, but the most recent jobs they have provided for Maastricht's populace is keeping people safe, serving as air raid shelters during the Second World War, and parts of it have even been adjusted to provide safe spaces during an atomic attack during the decades of the Cold War. You can see marvelous presentations on that in Schuilkelder Museum, the Air Raid Shelter Museum, when it opens again. We are all waiting for that.
Nope.
Oh, thank you, Lucy. The
Thank
lovely
you,
Lucy
Lucy.
from Meet Maastricht.
Mm.
Hopefully, there might be some news tomorrow that says that she can start doing some more tours around the city. That would be nice. I know there's a lot of people itching to get out there for sure. I think it's a shame for people who've just recently moved to the city, of course, and they want to explore, and they need a guide like Lucy to show them the way.
Well, it's the only guide you'll ever need.
Exactly. There's a T-shirt for Lucy, the only guide you will ever need.
There you are.
Something else we need, Tracey, is a few tissy bitties before we sign off, I think.
Yes, indeed. We need to get going because The Apprentice starts at 10 and I want to watch. So I love Alan Sugar. I'm not ashamed to say it. I do. I love him. I've got 3 for you. Number 1, a reminder about the lovely Aaron mentioned that from 12 until 8 this weekend on Saturday, Café Bluff, Heerlen, the place to be in Heerlen. Go check it out. Go and have some coffee and chat with people and
ask him about his magic beans.
Ask him about it. He's going to love that, isn't it? Really cool. So have a look and check that one out. Today I was we did a takeaway lunch today from a place called Gatto by Gatto here in the city. So if you're in Maastricht, everyone who's in Maastricht knows what this place is because it's in the Jager Quartier, which is also the place to be if you're in Maastricht. But go check it out. They have some fabulous stuff and the sweetest people working behind the little counter that they've kind of put in place. I think they're open as of 12, but check their social media for the information. And they do, their slogan is sort of travel around the world without leaving your table. So they've got food from Estonia, food from Brazil, food, it's all these different types of flavors and things. And you buy a box where you mix it in with different toppings. And it's really good and you get plenty of it and it's very, very well priced. So check that out. And they also do a really lovely vegan banana bread, which I had today, which was, it's a giant slab of stuff. So that's Gatto by Gatto. So check them out on the St. Peterstraat in Maastricht. And finally, it might be a bit too soon to be thinking about Valentine's Day. I don't know, 14th of February. But for those, I guess it is, you're right. But for those of you who are, planning to do something to mark this heart-shaped holiday, why not think about Sweet Dreams Bakery in Landgraaf? Oh my god, I'm going way outside the city again. So Landgraaf, they have a special sweet love box on offer for Valentine's Day, which you can order as of January 16th up until January 23rd. So there's a bit of a window there, so you need to get in there if you want your Valentine's box. But it's got ruby brownies, chocolate mousse cakes, chocolate-covered strawberries, mini ruby cheesecakes, and mini vegan thumbprint cookies. It just sounds lovely.
I have no idea what a thumbprint cookie is, but I want one.
Absolutely. So check them out. And they also do a lot of kind of American-style kind of cakes and bakes, I suppose you would call it. So that's the Sweet Dreams Bakery in Landgraaf. But of course, we'll put all of this on our social media after the show.
We certainly will. I have to say, I do love a chocolate-covered strawberry.
I'm not a fan. I like a strawberry. I like a chocolate. Together, I don't see what the fuss is about.
She's a woman who knows what she wants, people.
I said I'm a purist. Sometimes things are they're better as they are. You don't need to mix everything together. However, the mini ruby cheesecake cookies is something I could definitely go for. So love a bit of cheesecake.
Well, if there's anybody out there who wants to send Tracey one of these little boxes, then I'll just message me and I'll send you her address.
Okay, that would be weird. Probably little tubs would be more successful on Valentine's Day, I expect.
You say it might be weird, but if you suddenly end up with 10 boxes, you're going to be very happy.
I tell you, I will eat them all on air. Anyway.
There's a YouTube moment waiting to happen.
I think it's time we say goodbye, Joe, I think.
It is time we say goodbye. So thank you ever so much for joining us this evening. It's been lovely to have you. Thank you to Aaron from Beta Koffie. Don't forget, you can go and check him out on Saturday and have a really lovely cup of coffee with some really nice people. And if you do go, let us know. We'd love to hear what you thought about it. Have a lovely weekend. We hope tomorrow we've got good news coming. We shall find out. We shall be back next week. Watch out for that weather. It's going to be getting a little bit chilly, so stay safe, stay warm, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye for now.
Thanks for watching. Bye.